So let us now prepare in mind, body, and spirit for our service today. This is from Joyous Living Journal by Peter Welds and Christian Sorensen. You are uniquely you. Don't try to be someone or something else. Just be you. Holy you. Holy you. Being holy yourself reveals the precious, unique being that you are. This is the divine as you, and therefore holy. You are already holy and perfect as you are holy yourself, spirit incarnated as you. So if you can just now take these words into that sacred place within yourself for a few moments. So I'm knowing that right here, right now, that this infinite energy of God is breathing us, living through us, as us, right here in this moment. I know that we are that incarnation of spirit, that there is divine guidance and wisdom and love within our own self, because we are infused with that power of God. It is everywhere that we see is God. Every snowflake, every grain of sand, every blade of grass, absolutely every single thing on this universe has been created. And we are also those co-creators. We are those co-creators of that energy and power that are divine to our own lives right here and right now. And so I know that that same power is orchestrating this service. It is in divine order and divine right action from Reverend Cece's speaking through her, as her, and just knowing that we hear absolutely every single thing that she is saying. And we are allowing those words then to take us through the rest of our week. And I know that our children's church is absolutely in divine order. And every single person that is here is by divine appointment. That we are here celebrating our own lives, the lives of God within us and all around us. And so I say, so it is. Amen.
So we have a new soundboard too. The guys worked last week to put it in, and so if you have comments about it, let Kenny know after the service.
Only if they're good.
Only if they're good, he says. No. Let him have it with whatever you got. It's whatever you got, right? Well, I'm astonished that it's February. Absolutely astonished. But I say that every month. It's like, wasn't it just summer? Like 2 weeks ago? Anyway, it's February, and February is the time we always talk about love. So I want to talk today about love with a capital L as well as love with a small l. Love with a capital L being the universal principle of love, and love with a small l is what we do with it, how we experience it, how we allow it into our lives to make them better. Ernest Holmes and many others have said that love with a capital L is the transformative force in the universe. The only one, the impulsion of life itself to express itself, to show up as everything that is, and then to expand and become more, to evolve and to grow and to continue to spread itself through all creation. It is spirit in action. So if that's the case, then it's our reason for being, because we're here to be spirit expressing. We're here to be the place God expresses itself on earth. That's the self-conscious beings that we are. Then it's our reason for being. We're here to express love. That's our main focus in life, if you will. But I think we have to start, it seems apparent and obvious to me that we have to start by learning to love ourselves. We say that you get what you express into the universe. It comes back to you, and that you attract what you are, not what you think, but what you are. So we have to learn how to love ourselves so that we can have a clue about how to love our neighbors. Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself, which presupposes that we love ourselves. And then hopefully we will have a clue about how to love our neighbors. And I have said myself, and I've heard a lot of other people say, that it's easier to love other people than ourselves. But what I discovered in the dark recesses of my own psyche is that when I don't love myself, what I'm really doing with other people is not love. It might be codependence, doing things so that they will give to me what I need. It might be manipulation. If I do all these nice things, maybe they'll do what I want them to do. It might just be, I don't know, it can be all sorts of things, but I don't think it's love. I don't think it's love. It might be the words and the actions that I grew up learning to call love, but if it has any shame in it, or any lack of acceptance, or any discounting of who someone is, it's not love. It's not love. Most of us don't learn how to love ourselves from our parents because no one taught them how. And I don't know about you, but my parents had difficulty loving themselves. Both of them did. And we don't learn it from our society because our society says if you love yourself, you're selfish or egotistical or whatever. Nobody teaches us. Nobody teaches us how to love ourselves. But if love is what we're here to express, it's something we have to learn. We really do. Because we can't give what we don't have, and we can't receive what we aren't already. And so, how do we do that? How do we do that? One of the most obvious things that came to my mind was some of those little external gifts we can give ourselves. This is the easy part. Like if you've had a rough day, go for a walk through, in nature, or get a pedicure or something like that. If you've had a rough month, take a couple of days and sneak away somewhere wonderful, or get a really good, really long massage. Do those kinds of nice things for yourself physically and emotionally. The second thing is choose one thing that contributes to your physical health. I don't know whether you realize it, but our society is bad for our health. It's really bad. And so if we choose one little thing we can do, like maybe not eat so much junk food, or maybe not drink so much alcohol, or maybe not, for me, eat so much chocolate. Just one little thing. Sleep a little bit more. Exercise a tiny bit more. And put it into our lives until it becomes part of our routine, and then pick something else. We just add little tiny things to try and make our physical health better. Because I don't think any of us have any idea how good we could feel physically. Because, we're stressed out all the time, among other things. And we're barraged with, I don't want to go into all that, but what I'm suggesting is tiny little adjustments to try and make our physical health better. Deeper than that, one level deeper, we can invest in our psychological and spiritual health. Like, take a meditation class or join the meditation group that meets here on Wednesday nights and learn there about meditation and the benefits of meditation. Another thing is, if there's a problem you can't find the answer to, maybe a therapist is the answer. They're really good people to have in your corner, So if there's something that's really troubling you, maybe invest in counseling or therapy. Use the practitioners here as well. If you can't see the spiritual truth of a situation, that's what they've studied for 4 or 5 years to know how to do. Make an appointment with one of the practitioners and let them see that spiritual truth for you and give you some spiritual tools you can use to keep, so that you can keep your eyes on it instead of on the circumstances, the facts that are troubling you. I think one of the next layer down, one of the hardest things is to realize that it's okay to feel bad sometimes. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel mad or sad or blue some of the time. It's part of being human. We have an idea that we're not successful at living unless we're happy all the time, or ecstatic, better, all the time, successful all the time, have the answer all the time. It's okay not to have the answer. It's okay to feel bad sometimes. It's okay to want to punch the wall sometimes. I don't recommend that you act on that or punch somebody else. I don't recommend you act on that either. You don't have to act on bad feelings if you acknowledge it's okay to have them. I feel angry today, and it's okay. We are spiritual beings in a human experience, and the human experience is frustrating, saddening, maddening, gladdening, ecstatic some days, really cruddy other days. That's what it is. And when we can listen to and acknowledge the human feelings without judgment, without I shouldn't feel that way, or I should punch somebody, or acting it out, if we simply acknowledge the way we feel without judgment, you know what happens? It changes. It passes. The Bible did not say, and it shall come to stay. It said it shall come to pass. And everything passes. Everything. If we simply let it be, it's gone in the next breath. Maybe the next hour, sometimes even the next day, but it passes. And it educates us while it's here. So it's not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing even to feel anger or depression or sadness. Sometimes we do have to look at the anger or the depression or the sadness or the frustration if we keep doing it to ourselves over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Do we keep putting ourselves in the situation that causes us to not love ourselves? Like when I was 17, I remember getting a job for a guy who was something was wrong with him. He thought it was okay when he got frustrated to pick up a package of lead type, a little teeny thing, weighs about, 8 pounds, and fling it at somebody. Like this all the time, He was angry. He was a very angry man. And when I left that job, I got a job for a woman who was incredibly passive-aggressive, reminiscent of my mom. Go figure. Go figure. And then I moved to San Francisco and worked for some really nice people for a little while, and then got a job for a really passive-aggressive person again. Then I went to Salt Lake and got a job where I had an angry supervisor, or a passive-aggressive supervisor and an angry social worker. She was Russian. One day she said, "Give me a cigarette." And I said, "I don't have any." So she picked up a pen and flung it into my face. Okay, look it. I've had enough. I have had enough now. What's the lesson? What's the lesson here? What I finally realized was I kept doing this to myself, so I would wake up and see that there was something I needed to learn. What is it I need to learn? I didn't learn it very well then, because I had another couple of episodes of close contact with angry people and with passive-aggressive people, until I learned that the answer was love. The answer was I had to bring the love to the situation. I had to. I couldn't expect anybody else to. I had to. When I brought the love, I started to learn that love is the answer, and love is the lesson, and love is what I'm here to do. I think one of the main reasons that we feel about ourselves and keep putting ourselves in situations where we feel mad or sad or frustrated is because of the way we talk to ourselves. And if you haven't listened to it, it's probably, I was going to say it's probably a good idea. It's not a pleasant idea, but it's a really good idea to listen to what you say to yourself. Because what we tend to do is make giant mountains out of the molehills of our little tiny mistakes. We make a little tiny mistake and we go, ugh, you are so stupid. How could you do that? Blah, 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 blah. You would never treat anyone else like that. Never. You'd never say to your friend, how could you be so stupid as to wear those pantyhose that have a run in them? I mean, but do that to yourself and oh man, it's like you killed somebody. It's amazing how hard we are with ourselves. We're just brutal and merciless. I think what we have to do is just become aware of what we're thinking. And when we catch ourselves talking mean to ourselves, we have to pour in a whole lot of love. Things like, you are wonderful. You are intelligent. You are precious and unique. You are love. You are here giving your gift. Whatever comes to mind, we just have to keep pouring it in. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. It's powerful, powerful medicine, this medicine of love. Because we have so many places that are bruised and torn by the nasty things we've said to ourselves, the nasty things that someone else said out of their own pain and we took personally and made part of our repertoire, so to speak. We have to continue to just pour in love. And I don't know anybody who doesn't do this or hasn't done it in the past. And I read an article recently that was really very interesting. It said that we do that. We have this beat ourselves up habit because of the way our brain is set up. The part of our brain that is ancient is always saying, look out, look out, look out, look out. And it gets filtered through our childhood experiences, and it goes from look out to look out, you dummy, you know? And so we just keep doing it to ourselves until we allow the more developed, the newer part of our brain to pour in the medicine that needs to be poured in. Sometimes we can get that critical voice to become a mere whisper. The problem is that when we get too stressed out, it gets louder and louder and louder. It's still whispering. And so I think our job is to learn that there's really nothing to look out for. And when it's going, look out, look out, look out, we can say, got it handled. I'm an adult here, I've got it handled. Instead of allowing it to activate that critical voice, You know, we just have to start. We just have to start where we are. And where we are, and starting to pour in this medicine of love is, we're here. I saw a Facebook posting that I so loved. It said, I have a 100% track record of surviving all of those things I've been watching out for. Do you realize that? Everything somebody said, watch out for, watch out, watch out. You've survived, you're here. You're whole, you're healthy. Wow, pat yourself on the back. It's a 100% record, right? And if I can just remember that and cheer myself on because I've survived all that stuff. I've survived the bruises and the torn places and the self-denigration and the flying pens and packages of lead type and all that stuff. You know, we've all survived it. We're here. We've learned those lessons. We are gorgeously human and we've learned the lessons from those experiences. That's a lot to celebrate right there. That's a lot to say, I need to congratulate myself for good work, you know? If we can just remember that what today's reading says, we are wholly ourselves. And because we are wholly ourselves, we are wholly, H-O-L-Y, ourselves as well. Each one of us. You know, each one of us is this holy existence, gorgeous and perfect and divinely human, which means sometimes we slip and fall, and sometimes we say the wrong thing, and sometimes we feel angry, and sometimes we make mistakes, and that's all okay. It's absolutely okay. It's lovable even. It's amazing. When we watch our kids do it, you know, you watch a little tiny kid try and learn to walk, and they always wind up flat on their butts again, and we think it's darling. And you know, we gotta remember that it's darling in us too. It's okay to make a mistake and learn how to walk better. It's okay to fall on your butt and learn how to take another step. It's all okay. It's all okay. If we can just pour in that idea that we are expressing life and love, both with capital L letters. We are wholly ourselves, and we are wholly holy, and we are doing exactly what we came here to do, learning how to love better through everything that happens to us. And one of the useful practices is to remind ourselves to be grateful for ourselves. For ourselves. I mean, look at this body. We have these amazing bodies that have accomplished so much. And they still work. And they still, you know, our heart beats when it's supposed to beat. We breathe when we're supposed to breathe. We don't have to say, okay, I'm going to move these muscles in the front of my thigh so I can take a step forward. It just works. It's just also so simple, and sometimes we do, don't we? Some of us have to say, I'm going to move these muscles in my legs so that I can take a step. And others of us have to say, I'm going to open my heart so I can love myself a little more. And others say, I'm going to open my head so that I can be open-minded about this person and their stuff. And some of us have to say, I'm going to stop finding the for my codependent and the man that I can manipulate, and I'm going to stop doing that and put myself in a loving place for a moment. We all have our stuff. We all have our stuff. But if we're just remember to be grateful that we're still here and learning, and that, you know, the sky turns pink and orange in the morning before the sun comes up, and it turns red before the sun goes down, and even when it's slick outside, it's really pretty, and that there are stars and the moon and the sun and all of those great things we can look at and become aware that we're here and alive and human and gorgeously human. We just keep pouring it in. We just keep pouring in enough loving words that we get all the way down to that sticky black stuff at the bottom that we still beat ourselves up about. And then we just add a little bit more for good measure. We just keep pouring it in. I am complete and whole and gorgeously human and learning and living and loving and alive, and I've survived and I'm fabulous. Just make it a little litany and pour it in and pour it in and pour it in. Because what we come to realize is that every mistake, every slip and fall, every misspoken word is very, very, very much like that little kid who can't quite say mommy but makes a stab at it, who can't quite walk across the room but tries and slips and falls on her butt, who can't quite make the correct decision about when to cross the road but tries. Every one of us is just as precious to this whole world as that little child. And think about how easy it is to fall in love with a little child who's just trying. And put yourself there, because the universe feels about you in the same way. You are just as precious to the universe as your baby was to you and your grandchild is to you, because you are a child of the universe, holy you. Born to be loved and born to love. That's why you're here. So I invite you to just join me as we pray together. The way that we pray here is affirmatively. We remember what we know. We state that which we are seeking as it's already here. It's already a fact. And then we trust the universe, we trust God to make it so. Because God is the only one who ever makes it so. So just join me in realizing that there is only God. That everywhere we look, we are seeing reflected back to us the face of God. that in every atom and every molecule and every flower and every rock and every grain of sand, in every animal, in every human being, in every star, in everything, God is present. It has spread itself through all creation and is looking back at us as we look through its eyes at the world. God is what lives inside of us. It is what wakes us up in the morning. It is the force of life itself that beats our heart. It is the power of imagination and thought that creates our experience. It is everything that exists. And where it is, it all is. So that the same power that imagined into being the universe lives inside each one of us. And we can use it to imagine a world that is filled with love. A world that is based in love. A world that loves everyone. And I know right now for each one of us that we love ourselves better today than we did yesterday, and that we love ourselves even better tomorrow as we remember moment to moment to moment that we are truly children of the universe, here to love and here to be loved, and that we are loved deeply, unconditionally, and totally loved. So we let that love fill us up and flow over into all the things that we do in this world, into every transaction, into every meeting, into every interaction with other people, into all that we do. We are love pouring over. And because I know that this is the innate central truth of each one of us, I say thank you. I say thank you to that power and presence that created the world. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this community. Thank you for the ability to use the intellect that we were given with to change the way we view everything, simply by adding a little more love and then a little bit more. Thank you for life itself. And from this place of gratitude, I release these words into the infinite law that reflects back to me what I am. Thank you, God. And so it is. There we go. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul. Ah, and how sweet it is just to feel that connection for a moment. And we now have an opportunity to work with that law of vibration, of circulation, of cause and effect by supporting our spiritual community and also entering into that flow of the stream of life. We're able to be here and do what we do solely because of your contributions. So thank you very much. And I invite you for a moment to just become conscious of the fact that you are giving into this stream of life, whether it's by check or cashier or by electronic transfer or by the PayPal button on the website. Just become conscious of it and know the truth of what Jesus told us, that as we give, so shall we receive. As we put into the stream of life, so it brings back to us. And please repeat after me. Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
I know that as I give, so do I receive abundantly. I am grateful. And so it is.